His name is Henry. He's all about those classics. Dust off the old ones and gives them shine. He finds some goodies and finds you some baddies. And reviews ones folks from forgot. His name is Henry. He's over the
Can't be done, I tell you.
mustache.
Can't be done.
20th century reviews are here. 20th century reviews are here.
Hello, I'm Henry R. Mockingbird, your host with the mustache. And happy Valentine's Day, everybody. And unfortunately, this Valentine's Day, I am rectifying an old mistake. To newcomers to my reviews, I reviewed Wings for my 50th episode. Wings was one of the very first movies to win the Academy Award for Best Picture. Quote unquote, one of the first. It had Gary Cooper in his film debut, as well as Clara Bow. For those of you who don't know, Clara Bow was the first It Girl. What is an It Girl, you're probably wondering? Well, I'm glad you asked, faithful viewers. Here's the geek to give you a tropes analysis. Hello, everybody. I'm your friendly neighborhood geek, here at you with another tropes analysis. Now, the trope of the It Girl is a young woman who has achieved celebrity because of her social status, lifestyle. Now, the It Girl was coined by the movie by Clara Bow called It. And since then, this has become a trope. The trope of the It Girl, well, for example, Heathers had an It Girl. 10 Things I Hate About You had an It Girl. Clueless had an It Girl. High School Musical had an It Girl. Do Revenge had an It Girl. And this whole trope was coined by this little movie with Clara Bow called It. And that was another tropes analysis. Back to you, Henry Mockingbird. And was something of a sex symbol during the roaring 20s, and even Leonard Maltin was pretty fond of her. Clara Bow was lucky enough to be one of the first silent actors to transition to talking films, with her very first talking movie being The Wild Party, which is what I'm going to review today for Valentine's Day. Well, let us get this party started with Wild Party. Some college girls who pay more attention to partying than paying attention in their classes. But when a party girl named Stella ends up taking it a bit too far at a bar and has to be rescued by her professor, she later ends up gaining his respect and ends up falling head over heels in love with him. So, what do I think of The Wild Party? Well, I like it. The film was directed by Dorothy Eisner, who was one of the first female directors. Not to say that women directing movies were a new concept back then. You had people like Louis Weber, who was a pioneer when it came to film and was compared to the likes of D.W. Griffith. Anyways, Dorothy Eisner also directed the Lucille Ball film Dance Girl Dance. With this being Clara Bow's first sound film, she would often have trouble with her microphone. At one point, her microphone exploded, causing a lot of technical difficulties. The director improvised and made what is believed to be the very first fishpole microphone, which allowed Clara Bow a lot more flexibility and freedom. And when the movie finally came out, it was pretty mixed. Critics were mixed on Clara Bow's voice, but Variety gave her a lot of praise for her voice and said she made a good transition from silent to talking. One of the scenes includes a party that the students at the college are having, so it's party time. Stella and her party friends are dressed up in mink coats, only to reveal that they're wearing Flash Gordon-like dresses with lightning bolts on them. And they do the tango, only to be told by the head of the party that their costumes look indecent. And my question is, how do they look indecent? Even by 1929 standards, these costumes are pretty freaking tame. They end up taking a taxi to the nearest bar, and a bunch of drunk dudes just stare at their legs and how they look. These guys end up causing a lot of trouble for the girls and start acting like creeps. Thankfully, one of the men actually has some common sense and tries to knock one of these creepazoids the hell out, and it all breaks into a fight scene where the lights go out and the girls are able to escape, but oh no, they forgot Stella. So James, the professor, has to save Stella from these creeps, and he ends up fighting them to the death. And later on in the film, we have a party scene where Stella's friend gets a visit from a drunk Jack Oakey who slides down the stairs. And with him being drunk, he starts hardcore creeping on Stella's friend. Stella decides to dance with him and play a game of Ring Around the Rosie. Ring around the rosy, a pocket full of posy. Doo-da, doo-da, he goes out. Ring around the rosy, a pocket full of posy. Dashes, dashes, he goes out and down. The opening credits start with a song which is pretty catchy. A song so good that it even has its own reprise. Take a listen.
Shiny blue when the tea and people do, my wild party girl. When I am hope and youth are old, we'll fall asleep at nine. But until that distant day, let's make love be while we may, while party girl of mine.
Talk about the characters. First, there's Stella, played by the ever glamorous Clara Bow, and she does a pretty good job in her first speaking role. And Stella, her character, is apparently quite the party girl and hardly takes much of anything seriously. We see she has a whole group full of friends, including her best friend who wears glasses and looks like a school teacher. We also get a flashback to her trip to the college. We see that Stella, on the train back, got into the wrong bed and ends up in a bed with a guy named James. And later it turns out this guy is actually the professor of the college, the new professor, that is. And James is a bit of a hard ass and no nonsense kind of guy. He's played by Frederick Marsh, who was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in Dr. Jekyll and Hyde 1931. Stella's relationship with James kind of changes her for the better, because at the beginning of the movie, she's pretty much a party girl. And her relationship with James helps her to realize that her friend can also find love with another man. And their relationship is pretty sweet and heartwarming. They kind of make each other better. To the point towards the end of the movie, both of them leave the college to go pursue a life of him working in Africa. I say if you want a good introduction to Clara Bow's sound films, I say give this film a look. 5 gold stars. Well, that's pretty much all I have to say about Clara Bow's Wild Party. So, happy Valentine's Day, my lovely viewers. And until the next review, I'm Henry R. Mockingbird, your host with the mustache, signing off. Hello, my little gangster. Here are the rings for you to pay off Silver. In return, you will give me what I want. Okay, what do you want, Mr. Dark Shadow?